The greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way. In a whole different realm of business. Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah. Watch. God's people ain't that few. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role. We put too much pressure on Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? He ain't put nobody on. The people that been in his productions, they not famous. All of them can walk through the mall without security. Be what you gonna be, but put your people on. If you a gay person and you in there, put some other gay people on. Put somebody on. Or don't be wondering why people keep saying gatekeepers. Because clearly, y'all are keeping these gates. Clearly.
So I have never allowed this industry to change me, and there were times, y'all, I'm gonna keep it real with you, that I didn't feel seen.
So you know how Tyler Perry and Oprah have been exposed as the gatekeepers of Hollywood? Well, apparently that label is not sitting right with them, and they are going to all lengths to defend themselves against these claims. As we all know, Katt Williams recently went on Club Shay Shay for his debut to shed some light on the evils of the industry. I'm talking anywhere from gatekeeping to blackballing, sacrifices, and abuse. We're looking at you, Brother Love, among others, of course. In the interview, Katt revealed some really twisted stuff involving Oprah and Tyler's success, allegedly cutting corners left and right to stay on top of the industry, even if that meant stabbing other brothers and sisters in the back and sabotaging their careers. And what's even worse, Katt has the receipts. Seems like Oprah needs to do some proper damage control. And we all know what a woman with her kind of power can do to make all these rumors and whispers disappear. But Katt didn't stop there. He's taking shots at Diddy for his alleged involvement in some sinister acts that happened behind the closed doors of Puff Manor, even throwing names like Jermaine Dupri out there.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah? Jermaine Dupri, king of the if you ask me, baby. Jermaine Dupri, small as a child.
Now, if there's one guy in Hollywood who spills the juiciest tea on all the dark corners of the industry, it's Williams. He's got the inside scoop on everyone and everything, and he's not keeping it to himself. So, he's been pretty quiet since the whole Diddy drama started, and fans are wondering why. He doesn't usually shy away from these topics, and I'm not saying he's doing it for clout or anything like that. He's far from a clout chaser. Turns out, he was just waiting for the perfect moment to drop all the details, and trust me, he's got a ton of stories to tell. Katt claimed that Puff's involved in some sketchy stuff. There are even rumors going around that Kris Kross was one of his victims. But that's not all, apparently. He has different ways to ensure their silence, keeping secret recordings and tapes of everyone who would do a devious act in his mansion. Turns out, Katt has been blowing the whistle on the singer's shady dealings for years. Back then, not many paid attention because we didn't realize how bad Puffy allegedly was. People did talk about how odd he was, with a few comments on him taking credit for his artists' work without paying them. But it was Cassie's lawsuit that really opened our eyes to the alleged dark side of Sean Diddy Combs. Cassie recently said that Combs had taken advantage of her during her time on his label, subjecting her to 11 years of mistreatment. It wasn't just a bad boss situation. She didn't make much progress under Bad Boy Records, and he allegedly got violent during their relationship, leaving her body bruised on some occasions. The lawsuit also states that there are claims of assault and disturbing allegations that he encouraged her to do things with male escorts while he sat next to them, watching. Cassie held nothing back, and things have taken a dark turn since she revealed these details. Now that we've seen this side of Diddy, fans are doing a double take, remembering what Katt Williams hinted at regarding Puff allegedly using young artists and behaving inappropriately towards them. A couple of years ago, he threw shade at Combs and Jermaine Dupri, suggesting they did terrible things to the Kris Kross boys, allegedly leading one of them down a destructive path, turning to drugs as an escape before a tragic drug overdose in 2013. For those not in the loop, the Kris Kross boys were Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, the Jump duo who rose to fame in the early 90s at just 12 and 13. Like many child stars, they faced serious issues. Jermaine Dupri mentored them, shaping their music career, but according to Williams, the mentorship went beyond the studio. with Jermaine and Puffy allegedly doing some sketchy things behind closed doors. The boys had a successful run with 3 albums produced by Dupri, but there are rumors circulating that both of them allegedly faced repeated incidents of SA, involving both Jermaine and his friend Diddy, who was implicated in these disturbing allegations. According to Williams, the alleged ordeal led Chris Kelly to turn to drugs as a way to cope with the pain he was going through. His struggle with substance abuse persisted until 2013, when he was found unconscious at his Atlanta home. Despite being rushed to the hospital, he was declared dead 3 days later. Sources even suggest a disturbing ritual between Combs and Jermaine, allegedly pimping out their artists and even members of their inner circle. Reports claim that Puff allegedly used to pimp out the members of Danity Kane, explaining his obsession with their appearance and why he would always want them to look their best. Katt argues that if it weren't for the trauma inflicted by Diddy and Jermaine Dupri, Chris Kelly might still be around today. Unfortunately, Chris may have been among his alleged early victims, but he wasn't the last. Over the years, numerous reports have surfaced about the rapper getting involved in shady business with other artists. Rumors range from inappropriate advances to putting them in uncomfortable situations. Let's not forget about Gene, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, who has been consistently spilling tea on him. According to Gene, it's something of an open secret in the industry that Puff has a preference for the same gender and engages in sinful activities with them. Gene even shared an incident where Puff instructed him to watch the door, only to discover Puffy and another man running out naked. He even talked about how Puff had plans of pimping out the Danity Kane folks.
And I think that's those girls that was, I think, Danity Kane. I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy, they probably gonna go after him too.
He mentioned that artists usually got these girls to sign NDAs, but some girls from Danity Kane didn't, and they might come after him. He also recounted a time when Puff himself talked about the horrible plans he had for those poor girls.
He stood up there and he said, in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio, and I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm gonna drug their off and pick them up and pimp them out to my
Adding to the unsettling claims, federal law agencies once investigated Puffy in 2013 for allegedly having improper relations with younger boys. During the arrest of music manager James Roseman, investigators questioned him extensively about the rapper's questionable dealings with said boys. Reports suggest that Roseman was asked about entertainers' intimate preferences, including whether Sean Combs had intimate relationships with other boys under illegal circumstances. And Diddy wasn't the only person Katt chose to expose. The one detail that left the world shaken was about Oprah. Yep, he talked about her too. And honestly, it shouldn't be surprising considering how many people have tried to do that. Oprah and Tyler Perry, 50 Cent, Ludacris, Dave Chappelle, Monique, they've all been calling them out for not having the backs of black entertainers. Instead of lifting the community, they're accused of setting up black actors for embarrassment, lowballing, and blacklisting. And you won't believe how they're handling the criticism. No remorse, no apologies. They act like they're untouchable, but Katt Williams is not having any of it. He's been a real voice, you know. In an industry where whistleblowers are often labeled as jealous or crazy, he's speaking up about what he thinks is right. So, what's Katt saying about Oprah and Tyler Perry? Well, according to him, they've got this pattern of underpaying black actors and basically setting them up for failure. In a 2018 interview with V103's Frank and Wanda in the Morning, he broke it down. He pointed out how black comedians are getting unfair deals compared to their white counterparts. It's wild. White comedians are raking in big bucks for their comedy specials, while black comedians are getting lowballed with deals that are just a fraction of what the white guys are getting. Katt called it $100 million disrespect, even mentioned how Netflix threw huge sums at Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Ellen DeGeneres, but when it came to him, they offered just a fraction of that amount. Crazy, right? He went on in the comedy industry, calling out the lack of support for black comedians compared to their white counterparts. He straight up said, Hollywood is a place where they understand what a one-handed blind albino can do, but if you have an incredibly talented black person, they can't be fathomed. It's like the industry just can't wrap its head around the brilliance of black talent. And it's not a new problem, according to Katt. This mistreatment of black comedians has been going on for too long, and he's saying it's high time someone addressed it. But he didn't stop there. Williams dove into the dirty business of blackballing in Hollywood. He talked about how the industry turns its back on talented black actors who don't play by the rules. According to him, if you refuse to conform or speak out against the injustices in the industry, you risk getting blacklisted. Katt shared a personal story about turning down a movie deal because he felt the role pushed negative stereotypes about the black community. And guess what happened? He found himself blacklisted, and that lucrative deal went to someone else. It's a tough pill to swallow, but he's speaking out about the importance of standing up for principles, even if it means facing consequences in Hollywood. It's a real eye-opener to the challenges black actors face in the industry. Now, this move to get him blacklisted isn't surprising, because apparently Oprah tried to pull the same stunt with Mo'Nique. I mean, that Mo'Nique situation is just heartbreaking. Back in 2009, she was on the brink of Oscar glory for her role in Precious, a movie co-produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry. So, they planned this press tour ahead of the Oscars to capitalize on the buzz around her nomination. Sounds good, right? But here's the kicker. They weren't going to pay her for it, and she was already drained from filming. So, Mo'Nique, being reasonable, tells Oprah and Tyler Perry that she needs a breather and wants to recharge with her family. Seemed like a fair request, and everyone seemed cool with it. But then, out of nowhere, stories start popping up in the media painting Mo'Nique as difficult to work with. And just like that, the offers dried up. No movies, no shows, despite her winning an Oscar for Precious, something that should have skyrocketed her career. Mo'Nique couldn't believe it, but she started connecting the dots. Someone was out to get her. In a recent interview, she spilled the beans that Precious director Lee Daniels admitted she was blackballed because she didn't play by the rules. It's messed up, and she's been waiting for an apology from Oprah and Tyler Perry, but as far as we know, that apology is nowhere in sight. After the whole press tour ordeal, it seems Oprah took advantage of Mo'Nique's vulnerability in a deeply personal way. A few months later, Oprah invites Mo'Nique's brother Gerald, the same brother who assaulted her when she was a child, along with her parents to appear on her show. Now, this is heavy stuff, especially considering Mo'Nique had publicly spoken about her brother's assault in a 2008 interview with Essence. Mo'Nique had confided in Oprah about her strained relationship with her parents due to the assault and how they initially sided with her brother. Then Oprah drops this bombshell. She calls Mo'Nique and says, "My brother wanted to come on the show and talk about him me, and he wanted to tell other parents how to look out for molesters." Mo'Nique, being understanding, considers the situation, thinking people can change, and maybe her brother genuinely wants to help others, but she decides she doesn't want any part of it. Here's where it gets real. Oprah tells Mo'Nique that if she doesn't want her brother on the show, she'll cancel it altogether. Oprah didn't have to make that call. She didn't have to consult Mo'Nique. She could have just gone ahead with it, but she did, and Mo'Nique respects her for that. So, after Oprah's call about having Mo'Nique's brother on the show, Mo'Nique makes it crystal clear that she doesn't want to be a part of it. But, surprise, surprise, when the episode airs, Mo'Nique is dumbfounded to see commercials featuring her, brothers, and parents. She found out about the whole thing while she was on the road, watching a commercial on TV, and seeing her brother triggered some seriously traumatic memories for her. When she confronted Oprah about it, Oprah's reasoning was that she thought Mo'Nique needed help. Mo'Nique, rightly so, argued that she never asked for that kind of help and didn't appreciate Oprah making decisions about her personal matters without her consent. If Mo'Nique's account is accurate, it looks like Oprah intentionally went against Mo'Nique's wishes and brought her family on the show. It's a massive breach of trust and a violation of a vulnerable moment Mo'Nique shared with Oprah. This just adds more weight to the claims that Oprah might have a questionable agenda, especially when it comes to black actors. Another infamous incident that went viral involved Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's interview on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Recently surfaced footage caused a stir due to Oprah's insensitive line of questioning regarding the twins' weight. It was no secret that Mary-Kate and Ashley had struggled with their weight in the past, and during the interview, Oprah decided to ask invasive questions that clearly made them uncomfortable. The incident sparked outrage, with many criticizing Oprah for her insensitivity and lack of empathy. And if that wasn't part, listen to this. She also had a weird sort of bond with Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced film producer who faced numerous assault and harassment allegations. Despite Weinstein's long-standing reputation as a predator, Oprah maintained a close relationship with him. Speculation arose that she may have even encouraged actresses to work with him, leading to accusations of her complicity in the alleged misconduct. These allegations conflicted with Oprah's public persona as a champion of women's empowerment and a supporter of the Me Too movement. Some argued that her association with Weinstein demonstrated a double standard in her treatment of accused individuals. And the worst part is that Tyler and Oprah did a lot more than just ruining Monique's life. You know, just like Oprah, Tyler Perry has faced some heat for supposedly portraying black folks in a negative light, just to cater to white audiences. Spike Lee once went on a rant calling Tyler's work coonery, buffoonery, saying we could do better. And Tyler, well, he didn't take that lightly. He basically said, I'll punch the hell out of you. Say something else. Go to hell. That's one thing they both have in common, not handling criticism well. There was another incident involving Oprah, where she even introduced an alleged man of God in the whole thing. So, you've got this guy, John of God, running a healing spot in Brazil where people are looking for some peace and spiritual guidance. But surprise, surprise, turns out he's got a seriously dark and creepy side. Reports started popping up about assaults and abuse, painting this awful picture of a guy preying on the vulnerable folks who came to him for help. There's this one incident that really shook everyone up. A woman, just looking for some healing, ends up facing the worst thing ever during a private session with John of God. Now, what's really crazy is how Oprah played a part in making this guy famous. By putting him on her show, she kind of gave him this legit image, a stamp of approval. But little did she know, she was unintentionally endorsing his criminal behavior to a wider audience. It's pretty wild to think that someone as influential and respected as Oprah could miss the true nature of this fraud. Was it just being naive, or was there some calculated move behind it? Only the folks in Oprah's inner circle really know what went down. It's interesting because many folks see them as role models for the black community, almost untouchable. But not Katt Williams, oh no. He's not shy about expressing how he disapproves of Oprah and Tyler's portrayal of black people, and fans are loving it. One person wrote, Shannon Sharpie brah, this Katt Williams interview has to be on Netflix. The best interview of all interviews, better than Oprah and any other talk show period. Another added, Lamau na Katt Williams saying Tyler Perry can't play a man is hilarious because I did be saying the same even in Why Did I Get Married. I was like, William thinks the industry tries to label people like him as crazy for speaking the truth. According to him, if you got a big mouth and speak the truth, expect hatred. But he's standing firm, thanks to some higher power. He believes that those who point out these patterns get knocked down by the powers that be, especially those who want to emasculate black men. And guess what? It looks like his efforts are paying off because people are starting to question Oprah and Tyler's motives. Some wonder what Oprah's agenda is, going after black men she used in previous interviews. Others think maybe we put too much faith in them and should focus on believing in God and ourselves. The next person he brought into the spotlight was T.D. Jakes, another famous name in the industry who has recently come in the limelight for some horrible things. So, in this interview, Katt Williams spilled the tea on what's supposedly going down for all these big shot folks in 2024. He's like, it's game over whether you're T.D. Jakes or whoever. Lies are getting exposed, plain and simple. According to him, he's been on a 30-year quest, just collecting intel, knowledge, and everyone's secrets. Katt claims he's the go-to guy if you've got some dirt on you. He's willing to pay for the juicy stuff, proudly stating he knows things he probably shouldn't. It's like he's the keeper of all the industry secrets. In the interview, Katt Williams is throwing some serious shade at Steve Harvey and others, questioning why Cube, Terry Crews, and Mike Epps didn't step up to set the record straight. He's calling out what he sees as lies being spun by these celebrities. Katt seems frustrated that people like Steve Harvey are telling stories that might not be entirely accurate, like the whole used to be homeless saga. He points out that Steve Harvey was apparently making good money even back in the day when they were touring together, and he's not buying into the whole thanks to my wife narrative when it comes to Steve's success, especially considering Steve's multiple marriages. He also calls out other comedians like Guy Torry for allegedly fabricating stories about their early comedy days. Katt's basically saying, let's keep it real and not rewrite history. Then there's a shift in the conversation about Katt Williams himself, with the idea that he's like a psychic who knows a lot of things. But the focus quickly goes back to Steve Harvey, questioning the legitimacy of his journey and success. And there's a bold question thrown out there. Aren't you afraid of being blackballed again? Katt Williams is basically saying, I don't care who they are. I'm not afraid to call out lies. It's a bold move considering he's dealing with some powerful figures in the industry. And then the conversation takes an interesting turn, as Williams mentions being canceled for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the scandal broke. He dropped a bombshell by stating that Weinstein allegedly offered to perform a act on him in front of his agent and associates. Katt's always been one to shine a light on the not-so-glamorous side of Hollywood. Ages ago, He was one of the first to spill the beans about the dark side of Hollywood. So, what do you think? Should Katt be worried after calling out so many big names in the game? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.